My most memorable learning experience would have to be learning to fly. I had wanted to be a pilot as long as I can remember. While I was living in Tucson, Arizona, I had received an introductory flight lesson as a gift. It was a very special gift and I couldn't wait to get going. Right away they let you have your hands on the controls of the Cessna 170 so you can feel how the plane behaves. Now I'd flown commercially many times since the age of 5, but the sensation of flying a small plane was quite different. The feeling was more like actually flying rather than sitting on a jet airliner like a bus. The terrain in Tucson is mostly desert surrounded by 3 mountain ranges, so the view was breathtaking. After the introductory lesson, I was said overwhelmingly, "Where do I sign up?" Many hours of training later, it was time for my first solo flight. 1 takeoff, 1 lap around the airport, and land. That simple. Now, I had done that 30 or 40 times with the instructor seated next to me, but being the pilot in command was an entirely different feeling. I knew exactly what to do, and I could hear my instructor's voice in my head as each part of the flight unfolded. When I landed, it was the most incredible feeling I could remember. Now, the final part of my in-flight training was the cross-country flight. I had to pilot the course over 100 miles, land at 2 airports, and return. The flight was through desert and over mountains, and again, the view was unbelievable. I was leveled off at 10,000 feet when suddenly the engine started to sputter. I felt as though my heart had stopped beating for a few seconds when I realized what was going on. The carburetor was icing up. Now, I'd been trained for this, and I knew exactly what to do, but when you're injured sputtering at 10,000 feet, you can't help but get just a little bit excited. So I applied the carburetor heat, and in less than a minute, the engine was running smoothly. The rest of the flight went comparatively uneventful. Now, as I reflect on that learning experience, I understand the huge responsibility that a teacher has. She, as an instructor, had to evaluate my progress as we train and had to determine at some point that I had learned enough to fly a plane alone. And even though we're not literally putting the balance of life in our hands as educators, as my flight instructor was, our experience and skills as a teacher does shape lives. I learned a lot from my instructor as a teacher and a pilot from that experience. I can only hope that I'm half the instructor that she was.